You should be all set. Just before we sort of jump into it, I don't know if Joe, if you wanted to say anything, or Steve Scory or Mike Sullivan.
I'm good.
Okay.
Should we start at the top?
Yep. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes,
Yep.
thank you.
Perfect.
So just before we begin, guys, I just had a couple of comments on the makeup of this. You know, I'd like to maybe put the markups up to 15%. In the estimate, we were carrying 7.5 for design, 5 for CM, and I think 3 for our escalation, which is 15.5. And then we also have our insurances and bonds as a percentage. So I think, you know, 15 would be a fair reflection of maybe where we are for the markups.
You may need to copy and paste. I don't know if it's gonna jump up to add a percent for each time you dial it down.
Can do that too.
And one thing we may want to consider before we start too, we had taken sort of a snapshot to see how challenging or easy it would get and made some assumptions for the accepted column, and we may want to just dump those back in pending and move them with the discussion.
I think for today and for presentation tomorrow, yeah, we should just put everything in pending, and we'll leave the building committee make the decision of where to put them. If we could also add a column or a couple of columns, one will call it, you know, possible alternate. You know, maybe we can do that after declined and before to do. And then another one that just says, you know, can be added in later. So I think there's some items, if we accept them now, you know, they're gone from the project. The design will move on and we won't be able to put them back in. But there may be some that if we do take out, we can put back in easily later. So maybe I'd just like to identify those two. Okay, so Dong or Justin, do you want to go through these?
Sure. I can start. Justin can you know, chime in if needed. So the first one is the salad port, which I have a note in here. It's not in our base bid. It's just another. It's just a separate price for salad port, but the total cost to build the salad port is around $198,000.
So we should just be careful with the markup there, because I think that 198 is actually including all the markups for that.
No, it's 228. It's including the markup.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yep.
But that's what was in your estimate?
Yes, correct. That's yes, reflected the SD estimate.
Okay.
Oh, are we sure that wasn't in the base bid? I always thought we've been talking Sally Port this whole time.
I added it in with what I presented to the committee last week, Phil. So it is in the numbers that were presented to you, but we had two separate estimates.
And it is part of that 7798 value there at the top of the sheet.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's one that could be a possible alternate, I would think.
Yeah. So what I'm just saying there, Dong, is your Sally Port cost of work is 151,034.
That should be included. Did you include the site work in there also?
Oh, maybe not. Okay.
The site work's just a little bit extra, but in any case, we do have the Sally Port broken out on another sheet at 220. So
okay.
So the 228 is roughly the right value, but
yeah. Okay, fine.
So that's the first line.
Let's just decide which, like, again, we'll get all these in accepted and they should not be there at this point.
so if you want, Doug, you can copy that column J there with all the X's pasted over into the H column. No, you wouldn't want to do that because then you'll unaccept the ones that are, yeah, if you do it that way. You'll need to start at the top there. You just, yeah. And then you can clear contents on the J column. If you highlight that again, you can just clear out the X's.
There we go.
So then I think the Sally Port will be one we would look to include as an alternate. So maybe
Yeah.
just type in yes under possible alternate. And then if we do eliminate it now, it can't be added in later if we don't continue as an alternate, right?
Well, later is a kind of a relative term. How, I mean, is this something that you're thinking as a buyback during construction, or what? I mean, later when?
I mean, I think for the purpose of this day, we need to know whether it's going to be in the DD estimates at that point, right?
Okay.
But I mean,
The
so
design certainly would need
the
to
Sally
progress.
Port is easy because we're going to leave that in. We're going to have that as an alternate, so it's going to stay in. So it's
Yeah.
probably mute.
If it's an alternate, it's going to be drawn. So
Yeah.
then at that point, it could be added later as well.
Right. So yeah.
Just want to note that we need to decide that because we need to draw these separately on separate documents. They can't be, it's more than just drawing it somewhere. It takes an effort. So just be aware.
Right. So we will move forward with that as an alternate, Janet, or at least we'll confirm it tomorrow night.
Okay. If we're done with the Sally Port, the second line is the eliminations of the RTUs and AHUs and the boiler to number 2, number 3, number 4.
Right.
Here's the cost that we carry in our estimate with the 50% markup. Here's the total cost for each item.
Right. So I'm not sure this is as easy as that. GGD issued a memo this week. And it looks like rooftop unit number 2 is undersized. I think in the estimates, it showed that it was going to be replaced like for like 10,000 CFM, but they're now saying that we need a 17,000 CFM. Did you talk to them about that memo, Janet or Scott?
No, I didn't talk to him about the details of it. I asked him to produce a priority list. He went in, he looked at what he had spec'd, I believe what he had spec'd, what was in the estimate, and then he made his comments. So, there's the 7 priority list of it. So I didn't ask him details at this point.
So we need to check that because the rooftop unit in the estimate is a RTU2 is 10,000 CFM. The memo that was issued says it needs to be 17,000. So we may not be able to just take that out. It will be undersized, it sounds like.
It'd also be good to know when that question gets asked too, if the ductwork is still going to maintain the same size. I would kind of be surprised if it was. The velocity is going to go up, but that was one thing that we've been saying all along. If the ductwork changes, there's a whole there'd be an add that's probably the same value as what this deduct is.
Yeah, I honestly don't think that the boilers are going to be able to go away at all, though. Is that the case?
Well,
Yeah.
Well, let's stick to the rooftop unit. So we need to decide what we're going to present here.
Okay. All right.
This $194,000 represents taking 3 rooftop units out of the project. My comment is I don't think we can do that because we had rooftop unit 1 was 8,500 CFM. I think we can take, we can reuse that if we determine it's reusable. Rooftop unit 2 is 2,000 CFM, but our engineers are now saying that needs to be 17,000 CFM. So we can't just reuse that. We either need to replace it with a 17,000 or we need to supplement it. And then rooftop number 3 looks like it can be kept as well. That stays the same size. So we should probably break those numbers out, Don. rooftop unit 1, 2, and 3.
And Shane, is it sound like that one of them, it's gonna be in base bid ad for one of those, correct?
It sounds, I'm not sure if I sent that to you. I think I got it on Monday, Dave. I'm trying to look back on the narrative that went to the estimators.
It just
the
sounds like
narrative that went to the
we're chasing a
estimators,
little more money than we thought. If
well, that's my concern, that I don't want to present a value that's not real.
Do we know if these RTU numbers include any new dunnage needed or supports, or is that all kind of included in these estimates?
We had an allowance in our structural steel, Philip, for some rework of the roof.
Yeah, if it looks like we're going to be replacing at least one of them because of size requirements, I almost wonder if we should have the other two as alternates. To while we, it doesn't, or is there a lot of extra work to be creating drawings for too many alternates in these projects?
I think the rooftop units are pretty easy. There's just the one drawing, the mechanical roof drawing. Because we have to draw all the ductwork and the additions anyway. We were doing that regardless of whether we replace these units or not.
You just have to be careful that if we are lining up 4 pieces of equipment and the Sally port, and those are 5 alternates, that they have to be accepted in precedence and priority, and it can change the bottom line of the final sub bid successful awarded contractor.
Yeah, that's understood, and I'm not sure we need to get into that much detail in sequencing them today. So I think we need to change these numbers then. Dong, if you can go back and take a look at them, but rooftop unit number 2 is now 17,000 CFM. So that's probably an ad and not
I have the cost
D.
here, so I will make the changes. Let me see right now. So RTU1 is
If you folks have specific questions on any of the details of this, just write it out to me and I'll get it to GGDs so they can, define it and better for you if you need it.
You'll want those to be negative numbers, of course.
Oh, yep,
when
I
you
will,
get the
yep.
chance.
Then RTU3, 2, 42, 44, 54. Oh. Right, yeah.
Okay, so we can fill those in.
And if you were to just highlight, say, column H through M on that row 8.
8. That row 8.
From H to M, from that X mark on the next to the 88,500.
Yeah.
Just on row 8.
It's on row 8.
You could, in other words, you could copy those formulas and just drag them down 2 rows.
Oh,
So
okay.
from row 8 down to 9 and 10.
Row 8. Yep, got it. Yep, that's all set.
So it's
Alright,
RTU2 that the
so-
number
so-
represented is for a smaller unit than we actually need now, though, correct? Should we just put that in the notes column?
So I would put a note there, and Janet, maybe you can just confirm with them, but that's what that memo said on Monday, is that it needs to be upsized.
Is it what 17,000 CFM?
Correct, yeah. So that would be an add of probably $4,000 to $6,000, not a deduct.
I was just reading the memo. The RTU2 serves the portion of the building where the new addition is going. So an extra 12,000 square feet. So that's the reason for the upsize to 17,000.
Right. So
So
we
we
definitely
should
need to
take that,
follow up the ductwork question then.
but we should take that saving out of there, because there's no saving with this unit now.
Which one? Number
RTU2.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna take it out.
Zero that
So
out.
I would put zero that out.
Well, I think it needs to be an accepted ad.
Well, and then we need to put in what the upcharge is.
Well, then I would change the wording instead of eliminate
Right.
replacement 2. I would say upsize RTU2. And I know we've got already a lot of the base work, but for an extra 7,000 CFM, even at a few dollars a CFM, that could be 30 grand.
30 grand. Yeah. And this one will be accepted.
We don't have a choice.
Well, don't put anything exception until
Okay.
we meet
Well-
with the committee. The good news is we did have our mechanical guy out there yesterday. He took a look at all the units, or at least the AHU, the RTUs, and the chiller, and he does think that they will get a few more years life. If a few pieces are replaced and some parts are repaired. So I'm going to talk to him about putting together a scope of work, and then maybe we talk to Joe Conway or whoever deals with the maintenance in the police station, and see if we can get that out there, get his maintenance people out there to take a look. But it looks like we may be able to reuse some of these units. So it was a good thing we went up and took a look at them yesterday.
Um,
Um,
so we're now with the boilers.
The air handler.
Issue.
But so the same thing, yes. So that's the right value there.
So the air handler can handle the volume of the new addition.
The air handler does the third floor, the living quarters, I think, of the fire department. It's just rooftop unit 2 will do the addition.
Got it.
Well, unless they're changing the riser and the distribution pattern, each of the units serves each of the floors. They're zoned by floors right now from the original 2001. So if air handler 2 is taking the entirety of the load for the new addition with upsizing just one unit, then there'll have to be some vertical shaft to distribute that air to first, second, and third floor.
Right.
Because right now, air handler rooftop unit 1 services the first floor, 2 the second floor, and air handler 1 the third floor for the complex.
Correct.
And to Greg's point, if that riser isn't currently shown in the addition, it's going to need to be there, or it's going to be expensive to go vertical in the existing building.
might be part of the ability to save some money then, is rather than seeing all three of the units take on a little bit of extra space, you would focus on just one unit taking the extra space, and then just the one unit either would need to be upgraded or need to be improved. And you're allowing the other two to remain as is.
Yeah.
With maintenance. Maybe that's part of that decision.
Sure. Right. Especially if there's, to the earlier point, if there's going to have to be structural work and dunnage to support a larger unit, might as well do it in one location than three. Or four.
Obviously ideal to, upgrade these units for the entire building, but if obviously this is tight budget, so.
All right, so all those three, well, the rooftop unit 1, 3, and the AHU would be alternates. The boilers, based on that memo, look like they need to be replaced. That there's already one boiler been taken out, so it looks like it could even be under capacity right now. There was 3, there's only two in place now. And that's what I understood from GGD's memo, guys. Scott or Janet?
Yep. Can you? That is according to the menu. That was all, the boilers always had to be replaced from the get-go. They were never an alternate, so
So
they
it
have
sounds
to
like
be
we
in.
need to take number 4 out. That we shouldn't present that if it's not a viable.
It's not.
So just to delete it totally?
Yeah. Not, why don't we just call it not available, or just
And reject.
put in the,
Put reject. Decline.
I mean, if you don't want to have the conversation about it because it's clearly something that needs to be done, then we can just take it off the list. That might be easiest for a large group conversation.
Yeah, less discussion.
Now is the repairs of the asparagus apron and the retaining wall. That retaining wall is at the on the other side of the
Apparatus,
street.
yeah.
Yep. And then this is all the asphalt removal and repaving in the back. Here's the cost that we pulled out from our SD estimates for the 2 scope of work with a 50% markup, roughly about $42,000.
Is that asphalt or concrete?
Asphalt.
Okay.
should it be concrete? We typically, I think
No,
we
not
usually do
necessarily.
concrete for the first 6 or 12 feet, right? And asphalt after that.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just curious what it was.
Yeah, we price it as asphalt since right now initially right now the existing is asphalt.
Okay, so 100% asphalt.
Yeah, that is a really tough repair to make anyhow because of the way the foundation wall for the it was built. So you're gonna have to really look into that, how likely that is to work. So
Can you split out the two, the apron from the retaining wall?
Yeah, I can do that.
it's a rather unusual detail
Which one?
at the where the apparatus, the slab meets the bituminous. It's not typical. The lower level overhangs, it comes forward of it, and there's a 2-step down from the floor to a sort of a lip, and not a whole heck of a lot possible with that. So our structural engineer said I have no clue how to fix that.
Okay, I mean, all we were looking for was to get the asphalt replaced.
Yeah.
We did
Yeah.
make several, just so you know, we did make several separate capital request for that, and we kept being told repeatedly that it would be wrapped into the
Right,
public safety building project, so.
right. Yeah.
I'm not sure, are you guys just like talking about this stuff, or are you actively cutting stuff right now?
So we're just talking about it here, Mike. We'll be
Okay.
bringing it to the building committee, and they'll make the decision of whether it gets cut, whether it gets kept in, whether we fund it from some other, capital maintenance budget or not.
Okay, all right,
But right now, we have $1 million delta that we're trying to present to say, hey, if you take this out, we'll get it back on budget, but, hopefully, who knows, some more money may be available, so we don't have to take everything out to get back to that budget. But,
okay,
so this is for discussion tomorrow night.
okay.
All right, so 2 numbers are broken out.
Great.
Okay. This is the one that we presented along with our budget. This is
Right.
the alternate foundations at $95,000 saving. So with the 15% markup is $109,000.
Okay, so that's something we need a decision by tomorrow night. We think we'll get it and can't go back in after. It's a no-brainer.
Is that the pilings?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we say that in the description? What that, just somewhere in parentheses, maybe? It'd be easier when we're looking at it tomorrow to know exactly that's what that alternate scheme is.
Yeah, I think that'll read a little better than having it at the end. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks.
Well, this is the lobby wood paneling. The reduce it to 50%, saving up around 16 for the cost of work with the 15% markup is about $18,400.
So what did we have included in there? Is it wood paneling floor to ceiling throughout? Is it?
That was
is
the
it just sort of an
conversation.
allowance?
Yeah, that was a conversation with the cost consultant that he had included roughly $32,000 for the lobby wood paneling. So the idea is just try to save costs and maybe cut that in half.
Right. So right now, when you walk into the lobby, every wall everywhere, other than doors and glass, are wood paneling.
Correct. That was the understanding.
So this would reduce it by 50%.
Correct.
So that.
Aren't there a lot of displays and everything out there? That would
There
go
are.
with the new lobby?
Yes, there is.
There are some,
Yeah,
Joe, and there's a bench, and it's how we detail it. I think he just carried it as the whole thing right now, and then let us figure out exactly what it looks like. We also have to harden that lobby for ballistic, any weapons, and so we were going to put that behind the wood, so to speak. So that was the plan, but we're looking to cut it, the limits of it down. Maybe it's just on the face. It's a design thing at this point, Joe.
because there's a lot of displays out there.
So
Don't need
there is a
paneling
separate
behind
line item for display cabinets.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the line of duty, police and fire
Yeah,
racks are out there. There's obviously a lot of emotional attachment to those.
right.
So maybe we could save some, I'm just throwing this out, we could save some of the paneling. I mean, they're pretty substantial plats.
They're very substantial. That's why I said you could save probably more of the paneling than that.
There's panels, there's trim, there's all kinds of things. I don't think it could be probably reused. We can talk about it, but we have to figure out, we have less wall to work with now. We have a lot more doors, 2 doors to the bathroom. There's 3 windows now going to be in the lobby. So it's going to be a bit of a culling, but we can relocate things with you guys.
Well, all those displays have to be in that lobby, period,
I would agree with that, yeah.
period.
But can we show the layout of the lobby? I'm not sure if Dong, you have to give
Yep.
up.
I know I can put the drawings and look at
Scott,
it.
Scott had sent out some blow ups, or maybe you can just call it up if you have it there, Don. We'll take a look at it.
I have the SD drawings. That's all I have. I don't know anything else that you want to show.
Yeah, well, yeah. Can you just throw those up and we'll
Sure,
take a
not
look
a
at
problem.
the lobby.
Sure. Right here. Here's the lobby.
Yeah. So can you blow that up a bit?
Yep.
So right now you come in the vestibule, and 100% of these walls are wood paneling. There's two display cabinets there on the right hand side. Correct.
Yep, there's two display and then there's a bench. That 112 number is a bench,
Okay, so one display
yeah.
cabinet, one bench.
One bench.
What is a display cabinet?
Well, that could be anything, Joe. In the original plan, that's what we put them. We'll probably make those when we get done with this. You know, they could be a solid wall with just all displays on them. We'll work that out in detail. We haven't walked through it with you and relocated and tried and measured all of them yet,
Yeah,
but we will go back and do all that. There's a wall along the toilets, and there's some wall right here.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll, you know,
Well, we ought to,
figure-
people ought to take a look at all the displays out there and measure them out and see what
Mhm.
fits where.
Yep.
Because I have a feeling that we're not going to need as much paneling as has been estimated there.
So why don't we target that 50% reduction? We'll look at the display cabinet, whether that remains a display cabinet or whether it can just go to a wood panel wall and put the plaques up on it.
You don't need the paneling behind the plaques. These things are huge.
Yeah, they're pretty
Right.
substantial.
They are substantial. You
Yeah.
don't need anything behind the plaques. That's just like wasting money.
You can eliminate
Ought to take a
100%.
look at all that. That ought to be looked at separately.
Okay, well, for this exercise, we'll target 50% and we'll look at it. We'll go out there. We'll
I
take
think
photos of
it
everything.
might be more. Okay.
So I would leave it as a target of 50%, and maybe we can do more when we take a look at the actual plaques and things that have to go back.
Sure. So I will keep them as a pending.
Yeah.
One of the ideas that the cost consultant came up with was the running trim. I don't know if we need it. It's just an idea. I just eliminate the whole thing and cost savings of about $17,000.
So that's like a chair rail. Is that what that is?
Yep. There's existing chair rails already in the
Right.
corridors and that. And so one side of the corridor may have chair rail and the other side might not.
So
That's what that
yes.
covers.
So I know Chief Scory or Deputy Calabrese, we typically put a sort of chair rail in the corridors because you guys have your belts and your holsters and they tend to scrape and scratch the walls. I don't know if you think that that's necessary or something you can live without.
I think we can live without it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Take a look at what you have right now, and step out in the corridors and look and take a look. And then, but if you can eliminate it, we'll eliminate it,
There's probably like a 1x6 piece of chair rail that runs along the walls, and
It's pretty big. It's pretty big.
But that's what this item is, to
Yeah,
replace that.
offhand, I can't think that it's scuffed up at all. I think if anything, people just use it to lean on with their hand, maybe when talking to somebody, but I don't know that anybody's bumping into it.
Maybe you can add that to the description, Dung, that it's the chair rail in more specifically.
Okay.
Next item is to pretty much change the lab casework in the lab area from epoxy to the lab, product into just a working table.
Right. So in the detectives lab, do they need, acid resistant surfaces on the countertop, or is, P-lamp countertop sufficient? Are they using chemicals in there? Any abrasives?
I think there's probably a good chance they would use chemicals in there. Is there any way we can recycle what they have in there?
I'm not sure I've actually been in the lab. I can't picture what they have.
Well, let's look into it.
Yeah, I think we could definitely, reuse it if it's in good shape. Why not look at it,
Is it built in or is it loose? Do you know?
That I don't know. I'd have to look, but
I'd have to look again.
I think it's
we can
built in.
reuse it. I think that's a great option.
Yeah.
Doesn't get a ton of use, so it probably could be reused. I agree.
Yeah. And if it's dinged up a bit or something, we could, it's metal, we could paint it, we've done that before in, colleges that we do or something, we clean up something with some paint, but we'll take a look at it. So it wouldn't go away, it'd be a relocated cost, but.
Yeah, we would add some money to relocating and reinstallations of the existing, but I mean, it will be a lot of savings.
Probably the saving will go up.
Yeah, correct. So should I just leave that $10,000 saving?
I would just target $10,000 for now.
Okay.
And we'll take a look at it.
Okay. And the next item is, I think we talked about this during our reconciliation, is to eliminate the slab dam proofing. That cost is about $16,000. So with the markup, it's about 18.4. So I don't know what the design
So I
team.
think this is one recommended by the design team, right? It's something we had in that we don't need. So it's an easy one to take.
I'm going to check on that. We're working on those wall sections again to make sure.
You got an extra M in there, Doug.
Yeah.
Yep, sorry about that.
No need to apologize. Just let you know.
This is the slab on the new addition.
Yes.
I fix so many old buildings leaks for a living that I'm never a fan of removing any layers of waterproofing.
Yeah, I know.
I'll rely on the professionals on this one.
Yeah, I want to speak.
I thought we had doubled up, that we had waterproofing and this was
right.
Damp proofing, no?
Right. I think that was, you're correct, Shane. There was a question whether we were
I
doubling
think
up.
this was a double take.
Yeah.
Got it.
So if you can confirm that.
Yep, I will.
And we'll bring that.
All right. The next item is the eliminations of bulletproof resistant storefront. So take away the premium for the bullet resistant.
The value of that, John, I think should be a little bit more.
I think we carry in our price for the storefront, I think it's about $250 a square foot. So to remove the premium, I think I took out $100 a square foot on that.
What are you referring to as the storefront?
I think they're talking about the big windows that we place in the curve.
Pull up that drawing again.
Oh, okay.
Sure, yep.
Oh, okay, all right, right.
I think it's this curve.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah. So I guess it's a question for the police. None of the other windows at the front of the building, as I understand, are bullet resistant.
No, so how about if we went with window tint rather than making those bulletproof?
You just put like an adhesive screen on it.
Something that we could see out, but nobody can see in.
Yeah, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll look at that. We'll look at that whole piece there because we don't typically see them in the windows adjacent. It's just very costly. But we could obscure the lower portion of the glass and leave the top part clear. There's a couple different options for us, Chief.
So yeah, I think we're putting something in the bathroom right next to it anyway. because there's a window to that bathroom. But that value, Doug, so it should be 11.7, no? 78 square feet by 150.
No, I took off $100 square foot for the bullet resistant, keep the $150 for the aluminum storefront. Justin, do you think we should take off more for the bullet resistance, or?
Yeah, to Shane's point, just to be consistent with our other unit pricing, it would
I
be
think you had 100
off.
Sure. So how much again? I'm sorry.
150.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, no problem.
I had to step away for a second. Chief, did you comment on any of this? Both chiefs?
Yeah, Phil, so for the bullet resistant storefront, we just recommended maybe going with window tint rather than bullet resistant storefront.
Okay.
Is my secretary's window, what's that? Just regular glass?
Yes.
So
Yeah, it is what it is right now, Chief. Nothing
Okay.
different there.
Yeah, actually, there's nothing there right now.
Oh, yeah.
I
The
think
window, the
those
window that's,
transaction-
the transaction window will be bullet, but not the outside window.
Okay.
I mean, that's the plan at the moment.
Okay.
So that's the next item. Can you pull the lobby up again, Don?
Sure. Yep.
So right now, as I understand it, if you go to the bottom corner of the men's toilet, go left. Yeah, the wall at the back, that wall from there up, keep going up across to the transaction window. Yeah, that wall
To the
there.
right, to the right, to the right. Yep, there you go.
Up, yeah, pretty much the perimeter, that whole
Yeah.
perimeter of the lobby is bullet resistant.
Correct.
Drywall.
Yeah.
Shane, do you have the sketches we sent you? Or do you want us to?
Yeah, do you want, maybe I'll just, I'll start sharing, Don.
Scott, can you pull those up?
Sure. Okay. Shane, can you take over, or I have to do something
Yeah.
on my end?
I think I can take over.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Or maybe Shane can do it. Okay.
So right now, what we have in is bulletproof, bullet resistant walls up along the backside here across. This is the transaction window for the records. This is the door into the corridor to the police station, across the front of the dispatch, across the existing, this is the door to the existing community room. This is the door to the fire department, and down across the display case, the transaction window for the fire department and the bench. So the entire perimeter is bullet resistant glass. So we wanted to talk about whether that was necessary, whether we can reduce it by a certain percent, whether we just need it in certain areas, or what you thought in the police department and the fire department. Certainly, we recommend, and we see it, that this wall is always bullet resistant at the dispatch, and perhaps at the transaction counters we want to keep those windows as bullet resistant, but do we need it in all the walls, and do we need it around the toilets here in the corridor?
Jane, I don't think we need those walls to be bullet resistant, especially the ones at the back of the bathrooms. Certainly the windows should be, and maybe the wall in front of dispatch, but all the others, I think that's excessive.
Hey, Shane, I think you have another page, maybe with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a much smaller, what do you
Okay.
think of that, Chief?
Yeah,
So
Where the red
here,
dotted, yeah,
here, and then
here.
That, I think, is probably what it should look like.
Okay. That's 40%.
The other thing is we also have, in the existing building, in that small room that we currently use for fingerprinting, that was designed to be an office, and I believe the window on the front of that is bullet resistant. So if we can recycle that maybe into one of the new windows, that might
take-
save some money.
We'll look at that.
That's the window that's behind the current tack board in the lobby.
That's correct.
Okay, so
Can you also, Chief, in that the levels, it was on that screen, but there's different levels. UL 752 level 3, you can see and that makes a difference. We will specify the Kevlar sheets to match. Typically we see something usually in level 3, the 44 Magnum, as the level that we're putting in, but that's totally up to you. Obviously the higher the level, the more costly sort of thing, but that's how we look at it. So
I would roll at the level 3.
okay, and it'll be UL 752 and level 3. Okay,
thank you.
okay.
So Dong, I think you
is
should
that
be able
40,
to.
is that 40% off of the price or 60% off?
It's I think it was down to
60% off.
40%, so that
So-
was 320
be
feet.
number-
Is that what it was? What was
Number
that number?
15.
So it would be,
I thought it was 13.
But 13 is to eliminate 100%. So maybe it's 14, right? So we're taking about
14, yep,
60%.
taking
Yeah.
60% off, yep.
Yep, 60% off. Okay.
So we'll save about $54,000.
Correct.
Woo. One easy one.
And then now we can skip 15. We can go 16, the closet. Not big money, but small money
Right. So
can
this
also
was a
help.
closet that showed up in SD. It's just a single closet in the corridor.
If you can pull the plans back over, Doug, we can point to just the one we're referring to.
You said it-
106,
it's in
it's
the
in the
men's
new
locker
edition,
room.
yeah, on the new edition side.
Yep, it's right here. Yep. This,
No, just go up. Dong.
Yeah, it's not that one.
It's in the corner of the men's locker room.
106.
Though
corner
I
of the
guess
men's
it's,
locker room.
Corridor 106. You see it there?
Quarter 106. Okay. Yep. Right here. Yep. Right here.
so it's
106.
this,
I think,
Oh,
Janet, you're on mute. But I think the one we're talking about is the one that's actually above the firearm licensing on the second floor.
Well, no, that's another one. So this wasn't in the feasibility study. It showed up in the schematic.
Mhm.
I know there's always an issue with storage, and we want to capture as much as we can. But I just thought if we can avoid bumping into the men's locker room, you save money there, because when you bump in there, you got to touch up all the finishes there. I'm not sure if you're losing some lockers in the men's locker room because of this.
Agreed. This goes way back 4 years ago in the programming. You were woefully short of storage, so you asked us to pick up as much storage as we could. The one in the corridor, the room in the corridor, as well as in the men's locker room, were the two places on this floor that we picked up space. So it's really the question for you of how you're going to use the storage at this point.
Chief, what do you think?
How big is that closet?
The one in the men's room, you can see it's dimensioned at it's about 4 by 7. And it's got a column in the corner. That round thing is one of the columns that is currently in the locker room that prevents you from putting lockers there. So, there's a couple of them that remain from the original construction. So, you're getting shelving or no shelving and upright storage. And then the one at the end of the corridor is 3 foot wide by about 6 foot wide, 3 by 6.
I think for that big one with those 5 lockers and that corner one that is more of dead storage where the post is. I think there's
Yeah.
5 lockers that'll be affected by that.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be lovely to have that closet, but if we're looking to save money, it's certainly at the top of the chopping block.
Okay, so
Can we make it an alternate down the, down the line?
Not an
Um,
alternate, Joe, but it could be a change order later,
yeah,
maybe.
Okay.
and then I think the next one is that stair infill we were just talking about. That's the penalty box as it's been termed.
Yeah, it's just the infill 225, which is the second floor. Right here. Note 123.
What was it gonna be?
Storage.
Just another storage.
It wasn't in the study, Joe, but it has been asked for it. It's a complicated one because it's all tied up with the egress pattern.
Right.
Yeah, but there's other doors off that corridor, door to the fitness room, doors to the back of the area where the detention is. So there's a bunch of doors off of it. So that's why it's probably possible to do it. So again, it's just, again, back to the storage issues for the police department. But that is new.
Jan, what are the dimensions on that one?
I don't know. I'd have
You can
to-
open up the plans, Doug, if
Yeah,
you
you
want
can
to
open the
put back
plans.
to that
It might be
screen,
dimension, but
It's certainly bigger than the closet, the 106 closet.
Yeah, certainly.
yeah,
So
it's,
if we were gonna choose to eliminate one, I'd eliminate the closet because that's smaller. The stair infill looks like it gives us more storage area.
probably about 6 by 9, 6 by 8, I'm guessing, by looking at
Yeah,
it.
that's more than,
Yeah,
I'd rather roll with the area. I mean, it's only $1,000 more on the cost chart there. I'd rather stick with the stair infill.
yeah, this one requires steel. It's a floor we're filling in, we're actually, you got to figure out how to attach this floor structurally. And it'll have to be fire rated because it's within the stair, touching the stair. So it does have complicated, I think that's why we left that out of the study.
So I
Yeah.
think if we leave it on the list and when we go through, that
Yeah.
would be a maybe. And if we need to
right.
to go back a second
Yep.
time.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like about 7 by 10, 70 square feet total.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. The next line is that film hood, the new film hood that we in the lab.
So again, Chief Scory or Deputy Chief, is a fume hood that's something that's used, that's required? Could we reuse the existing?
I know they use it occasionally. I don't see why we couldn't reuse the existing.
I can check with the detective sergeant.
Yeah, if you can, maybe check.
Okay. The next one is the fire protection heads at the cells.
Chief Sullivan, these were, is he still on? Chief
Yeah, I
Sullivan?
am.
Okay, you had mentioned this at one of the meetings. Can you tell us why you were replacing those or suggested replacing those?
Well, I wasn't trying to get rid of them.
Just replace the heads though.
They had an issue with prisoners being able to access the sprinklers because of the location in the cell.
I thought that was resolved.
Those are all new heads in the cells within the past 5 years or so.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
So if that's not an issue, then yeah, get rid of that.
Out.
Okay, well, so we'll leave that and we can accept it tomorrow night.
Do we want to leave it so that we can accept it and talk about it like a victory, or do we need to take it off because it's no longer an issue and won't even be?
No,
leave it
I
on.
think we leave it there, Justin,
it.
just so we get our figures right at the bottom of the
All
page.
right. Very
Yeah,
good.
and the whole committee heard about them before, so it would be wise to.
So just to
let
be
them know.
clear, there's no way for anybody to access those heads now?
No, all the new ones in the cells have like a recessed
Okay,
thing, so they can't pull it down or snap it off like the old ones.
okay, very good.
Excellent.
Next one is the reductions of the roof drains at the, I think at the addition. So from 10 to 2.
So yeah, it's 1,000 square feet footprint, right? So I didn't think we needed 10 roof drains there.
Agree.
So I think this is pretty easy one.
That, and someone check the locations of these. It seems like a huge reduction in roof drains, especially with all the different equipment and roof elevations.
Yeah, we own
That's
one.
on the addition, right?
This is just the addition at the front.
Oh yeah, okay, 10 for
Yeah.
the addition, right? Yeah.
No,
okay.
no.
A lot.
We don't own 10. I mean, 2, 4, 6, 8.
This isn't
Yeah,
the
I mean,
gutters out front.
there's 2 on the front, there's 1 on the entry, there's 1 on the Sally port, and 2 on the area between the where the units are on the roof. I think the detail shows a double one on the front. I think that is overkill. So in the end, there will be 1, 2, 4 for additions, and then I think we're owning probably replacement or repair on the existing flat roof right now. That's what we own. So we can go back and revisit that, but I don't think it's down to 2 totally.
So reduced from 10 to 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 new, absolute. And maybe, but I don't think we're going to be able to get down to 1 on that addition because we have very limited amount of area between the rooftop and the existing eave, and so we don't have enough room to pitch to 1. I don't think. We'll take a look at that though. But we are, yeah.
How about
Sure.
at the vestibule? It's a relatively small roof. Could it just be scuppered or downspout?
It could be. It could be. I mean, that's a possibility. We'll look at.
To have the roof drain and the overflow drain for that little vestibule roof is quite a bit.
Yeah, we'll take a look.
So should I change it
So-
from 2 to 4? Eliminate
I would
6?
I would have at least 4 new right
Okay.
now.
The next line is the that OT work for the concrete. So we reduced it back to $10,000 allowance. So the reduction reflects 15,000 with a markup 17,250. So we are holding on to 10,000 only for the OT.
Okay.
Next one is the CCTV camera. We reduced
Before you
5.
jumped on, sorry,
Sure.
that actually could be tied to the Piles decision, because that could automatically go as a yes when the foundation changes a yes.
Okay, yeah.
They're tied together in my eyes.
Next one is the CCTV camera, security camera, from 30 to 25. We take away 5.
So how many new cameras are we going to need, right? I assume we're reusing all the existing cameras in the existing corridors. We'll need new ones in the addition for evidence. Maybe 1 in the guns, 1 in the drugs, and 2 in the general evidence. So that would be 4 new ones.
We
Where?
show I mean, I'd like to go over this with the chief for the chain of custody from, into this new location. We show them in the evidence in the area right inside where the evidence is processed by the evidence officer. And then we show one in each, the two locked rooms at each end. And we show a group, I think we show right now 5 of them in the general evidence because it's a long and narrow space. And I'm not sure you'll be able to capture all those. We pick up new ones in the corridors to watch that chain of custody. We also own them in the stairs right now. Don't know if we need them there or they have to be adjusted. And then that's on the lowest level. And then the next level up, they're one in the lab, one in the detective interview, again in the stairs, and then I don't think there's any on the floor above that. So it really just to track the chain of custody, Chief. So I can go over them with you. You have the RCPs and we can look at them together and count in the end. So, but I think you should be adding on to your system if it's at all possible. So you're not necessarily wanting to put this into the general bid, in my opinion, because you may get anything else, so you really want to maybe do conduit and pull strings and then owner supplied cameras and contractor installed perhaps. Shane, you agreeing with that?
Well, that was going to be my next one because in reading GGD's report, he said that the existing cameras are all analog and they're recommending they be upgraded. I guess there's a retrofit you can do to make them digital. So do you guys have a security consultant that you
Yeah.
use?
Yeah, we actually manage that in-house.
Right.
So
Okay.
I haven't seen the proposal other than the flash on the screen before, but it looked like they were going to use the existing analog cameras and just convert them to a new recorder. And then put these other 30 cameras on that new recorder as well.
Okay, so the question then becomes, do we need all 30 and do we want to put that in the construction or do we want to do that in-house? The risk when you do it in construction is, you pretty much have to do it open spec.
Mm-hmm.
So these low bid contractors are going to give you the cheapest camera they can buy that meets the spec, and that may necessarily not be the one that you want.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
correct.
So my recommendation might be to pull all the cameras out here, have the contractor do conduit and wire, and then for the town to install whatever cameras they want that meets their requirements.
Yep. I that's what I was talking about. Same agreement.
I probably
Total
agree
agreement
with that. I would just want to see what was proposed originally too and how much savings it would be.
Well, we would pull it all out of here, Todd, and then we would have to look to our furniture and technology budget to fund it out of that.
Yeah, why isn't it going out of FF&E?
Yeah, and you could buy it off the state bid list
Bid
too.
list.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
And
That's what-
just, I mean,
standard.
the pricing that we've got in here so far is just, it's schematic drawing. So there's nothing specific in here right now. That we just know that a camera was needed. And so we've allowed for some value for that, but
Okay.
nothing specific.
Okay.
So should we adjust this item to just be move all cameras to
Move.
FF&E?
Well,
Yeah.
I think you need to own the conduit,
Yeah, you're gonna have to have whatever,
the infrastructure. You need the infrastructure.
right?
So that's the question. Does that price per camera include the infrastructure or is that covered under electrical? Like,
Price
if
here would
you-
include the infrastructure.
and that would be probably 6 times that amount, right? This is just a 5 camera reduction instead of the 30 camera.
Or this might be just the infrastructure.
Oh, no, you've got $1,650 per camera. That I assume includes the camera.
Okay.
It does.
Right.
Yep.
I'm not sure how Root carried the conduits and stuff in there, but I'm assuming it's gonna be separate.
That's the wiring and the device. Yep. For the 1600.
Okay. So we should leave some money in there for the wiring and not take out everything.
Mhm.
But is it in the electrical?
Uh,
It's in the unit rate for the the
For,
camera?
it's in the unit rate for this deduct. The value of the wiring is up in electrical, yes. Because the unit rate we've got in the security line item, for example, is less than that. It's just the camera that we've got in the security line item itself. The value
Right.
of the wiring is up in the electrical. Of the, but that's irrelevant sort of to this necessarily breakdown here. But
So right now you actually have 38 cameras plus 4 360-degree cameras. So do we want to back all of those out?
Yes.
Say 38 cameras?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 38 total and plus 4 of that 360-degree camera exterior.
Okay,
So you want to back all that out?
and then you probably had
Just the equipment.
recorders and analog gateways as well, right?
I think that was all wrapped in there, I assume.
Okay,
I think there's
A new
42 cameras.
VMS system would be provided to manage the cameras among analog to IP converters would be provided to connect analog cameras and consolidate them to new VMS system. Excluded by others. So actually that's not in there.
This
So
one's gonna
Todd,
go-
maybe you and I can get together and look at what we need to do for that. We'll have the electrical contractor run the conduit and wiring.
yep,
We'll have to figure out what type of cameras go where and what we need to do for recording.
okay. And if we move these to FF and E, yeah, there you have it, that'd be up around like that 62.7. Okay,
I think also, Shane, we need to talk to the chief and deputy chief and Lieutenant Rubele where these cameras should actually be.
Well,
And make
I
sure
think
that
at
we're
some point, yeah,
covered.
we need to get GGD to mark up a drawing and we'll go through corridor
Well,
by
there-
corridor.
Yeah, but there's already, they can get started. They're already on the RCPs right now. So
Okay, so.
that's where I
we'll
think
go-
they got all these counts from, right? From the RCPs, correct? So
Right, but is the electrical the same?
I don't think, they probably don't own them. They probably don't own them
Try
because they have a
tell Wayne
narrative.
Griffin that he owns the RCPs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they counted on RCPs. We clearly show them.
Okay. And Todd, would we do the same with the card readers? Card swipes?
card readers. How many do you have now? I'd have to
8.
see, I haven't seen
4.
anything yet.
It looks like we're adding 8.
Eight.
Okay, so we just have to expand the panels that we have. I'd have to see what that came in at and go and get bids for that to see what it would cost us as well.
Okay, so I'll work with you on that too.
We may want the card readers in the base with all the hardware and so that's all coordinated, you know, the strikes or whatever we're doing in the end. I don't know, but we'll have to talk about that one.
Okay. Maybe it can be owner supplied, contractor installed.
Maybe. The cameras are a little bit more challenged because they have to work with the system, but you know, we'll look at that.
Okay, so we won't touch card readers for now.
Yeah.
Next line is just in the front, in lieu of pavers, just have concrete sidewalk. Remove the
Two
pavers.
different items there, Don.
Sorry.
Those are two separate items. I was reading limestone. I thought you said limestone.
No, talking about pavers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, in lieu of pavers, we're just gonna do concrete sidewalk in the front entrance. So that's a savings of 13.5 cost of work with the 15% markup. 15.5.
And that's something that we can easily buy in with the sub, right?
Yep.
What about stamped concrete? Do you guys ever do that?
sure,
I mean, it's gotta be cheaper than the pavers, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
The thing I worry about the pavers is the tripping hazard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, certainly, you know, with the design we've attempted to allow for here with a cast in place concrete base and then the the bricks on top, not a lot to pop up. It's certainly possible because concrete sidewalks buckle as well if the tree roots get in the wrong place, but it's pretty substantial. But this would be just the concrete. And stamped concrete would be a small premium to that, but certainly a lot more modest than this.
I have a lot of problem with cracking with stamped concrete. Doesn't hold up as well as a regular pour or like the concrete under the pavers.
It also depends upon your amount of salt that gets used for winter de-icing and that sort of thing. Concrete doesn't like salt. So if the maintenance habits are intense with a lot of salt, then it disappears quickly.
We're going to be doing concrete sidewalks anyway, right? I definitely agree with you, Greg. We have it there anyway. So we'll leave that one there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one is the limestone detailing at the brickwork. I assume that was brought up during our reconciliation by the cost consultant. He picked up the limestone work in front, assuming that we don't have to touch it. Pretty much we took out the cost for that.
Wait a minute, could you explain that again, please?
Yeah, is that something we can look at?
So the limestone is because the existing building has limestone. And we said we could look at replacing it with something else, but it would look different. So, oops. So we're talking about the limestone detailing along the top front where the existing building has limestone. Joe,
So this
that's
is
what
the
we're
demo
explaining.
drawing, Dung. Maybe if you
Yeah.
can jump to the new
Right,
facade,
right, yeah.
that might be more applicable.
Mhm. So there's a good look at it right there on the side. You can see where it says 300, Joe, and whatever the limestone exists along the existing building. We're picking up on that limestone to match. That's the reason it's limestone.
That's in the back?
No, that's in the front. That's the main elevations, Joe. Right there along the front and on that side. That's the new addition right there.
Yep. So note 300 limestone.
That's the reason, Joe.
You showed some of the pictures of it on the back.
No, that was the side. Okay, go to that side elevation, please. So look,
Okay,
stop right there. You see it on the right, Joe, where it says 300? That's the little addition. So that's the corner of the new addition of the 3-story.
What did the person say? They want to get rid of it?
Yes.
So we just go to brick instead of limestone.
I think it will look weird without it. I know it's costly, but I think architecturally, it's going to look weird if it doesn't carry her over.
Yeah, we'll bring that up tomorrow night.
I mean, the only other option, Joe, is to try to build it out of a masonry material that's a different color. It's not going to look the same, though, for sure.
So bring it up tomorrow night, Jane.
Yep.
That sounds to me like it probably should stay. So it's the next
Moving on. Doug, are you muted?
I'm sorry, muted. Yeah. The next item is the kitchen equipment shift to owner's FF&E.
So what do we have in there? We have the police break room and a refrigerator in the dispatch.
And there's a refrigerator in the the 3rd floor level. There's a kitchenette in the hall off the hallway.
Yeah, why isn't that in the F&E?
Can be.
It should be.
Yeah,
Could be.
we can put that in the FF&E.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
We just, do you guys, chief, do you guys need, dishwasher,
We already have,
ice maker?
we have a dishwasher.
Mhm.
We should be able to recycle anything that's in the kitchen.
I'm just thinking if the owner buys the appliances, we need to coordinate any plumbing hookups.
Yep.
For a
Right.
dishwasher, if you have an ice maker, you want an ice maker and a refrigerator.
No, the ice maker, no, nothing
Okay.
goes right with those. But the dishwasher, yes.
So we'll pick up the dishwasher and FF&E, but we just, Janet, need to make sure the hookup is in plumbing.
So the refrigerator, microwaves, any of that'll be picked up by the owner in
Right.
FF&E.
Yep.
You guys
And we
have a
may be able to
stovetop,
reuse.
If not
Chief.
reusing.
This one is, I don't know, it's possible, but the wall tiles in the bathroom eliminated.
Which bathrooms? You know, lobby?
No,
Lobbies.
yep, all the bathrooms.
So we have 1, 2, 3. We have the rooms in the lower level, Joe, the 2 new bathrooms on the entry, the bathroom in
Toilet.
dispatch. So there's 1, 2, 3. For some reason, I have it 5. Oh, in the chief's office. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then
Women's locker.
women's locker room on the first. So there's those 2 are existing toilets.
Yep.
220 and 224 existing. And
Do they have tiles in them now?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I mean, I would say the tiles in the lobby for sure.
Yeah, and we can reduce it. We put if we have to reduce it, we often put tile on the wet wall where everybody's splashing
Yep.
on a regular basis, and take it off on the other walls if we're trying to save. We can
Yeah.
do that, Joe.
I mean, if the other ones don't have, the existings don't have it, I don't see why we're gonna put it in now. You know, in new ones, it's out of the lobby.
Yeah, well, I would do the wet wall though. That's for sure.
Yep.
So why don't we
yeah.
reduce it by
Some percentage.
60%, 70%?
And we'll look at the women's room. We tend to put more tile in than less typically, but we'll look at cutting it back, way back.
The men are less messy or more messy?
Don't know.
So Don, do we want to just make this 60% for this exercise?
Yeah.
You just have to do the times 0.6 on the other one as well, though.
This one. You go. Yep. Okay.
Just say eliminate tile on wet walls only.
The wall tile.
Keep at wet walls only.
Yep. Tiles on wet wall.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks.
Can I ask why you would do it on wet walls? Like, if you ever need to replace that pipe in the future, you have to get through tile. What's the reason you would put tiles on the wet wall?
Primarily because people are they've got the water on, they're splashing the wall, and the drywall, the challenges of keeping the drywall in good shape
Okay, so
when they reach for the
behind all
towel
fixtures.
racks, it's behind the fixtures. When they reach for the towel, that kind of stuff. That's the way we think
Okay.
about it. But
Okay.
we'll look at them all though, make more we can.
Yep. The next line might be sensitive, but eliminate a restroom for the chief.
Yeah, that's just a terrible idea. I make all my important decisions in there, so
Yeah, I don't think we need that either. I think you can, I think it should stay the restroom for the chief.
Thank you, Joe.
No problem.
Is that something that you don't even want to see tomorrow night? That might be the way to go.
I really don't think we need to see it. What do you think, Phil?
Uh,
Phil?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just ready to go to my bathroom.
Well, wait a minute. We'll make one for Bill.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I have no comment. It doesn't matter to me.
We just want to be aware of any political sensitivity if we don't want to just throw something out there that might stir up some controversy.
I would just get rid of it for now.
The
You know,
current office has a toilet room and
Yeah,
that
it
was
does.
how it was thought of.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
Yes, it does.
yeah. Yeah,
If you want to drag the X's down on the H column, Doug, just so that all of those options are checked off.
I can drag it down.
Yeah, you can just grab the corner and drag the X's down. Not that we can necessarily choose every option, but it'll give you a sense of what's on the table, so to speak.
Well, you got the bulletproof, the 100%, 60%.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so
So
you-
you can't choose them all.
So I can take out
but,
the 100%.
60. So you can get rid of the 100 and the 40.
Yep.
Sure.
100%. Okay, my bad. This one's good, but this one is not good.
All right, so
we're at 906.
We need
Of options. And again, we wouldn't recommend you would want to take. We wouldn't expect you'd want to take all of them, and but that's what we've got to talk about.
But that's what we
so
have
far.
I had some other items, guys. Can we maybe run through? I went through your estimate like a vulture. Can I run through them and we'll decide whether we want to put them in or not.
Sure.
Couple of small items. There was money in there for sidewalk and street rental. I don't know if the town is going to charge you those fees. Can pull those out.
Street rental?
Yeah.
We're looking to take over the street in front of the department while we're doing the addition.
You expect the town to charge you?
Not honestly, not your town, but others do.
Cambridge, Cambridge would.
I know people do,
Oh,
but
then that's different than Dave. We're gonna try. No, so you can eliminate that.
so just pull that out. In your general requirements, you have 405 linear feet of roof rails, which sounds like quite a lot to me.
I think it's all the areas where we're going to have work. We actually
Work on the roof. Yep.
Yeah, but you know what? That's a good point. I mean, we do have the sloped roofs on a lot of the areas, so that would eliminate the need really for any kind of roof protection. So it's really the front. I'm wondering if the linear footage we have.
Yeah, we could probably
some of
have
that
that
into
because you're
account.
gonna need it at the flat roof where the MEP is, right? Where the
For sure,
rooftop-
well, at the end. But otherwise, the two long sides have the sloped roofs.
Right. Yeah.
So does the roofer own that?
No, well, one way or another, it's gonna be in the number.
Right.
They don't own it. It's not like it's gonna be on the contract documents that the design team puts in. It's gonna be in our requirements for safety.
Right.
And
But-
the thought,
the
the thought
front of the
process would be
building
that there'll
is-
be multiple trades up there on the roof,
Right.
not just the
Right.
roofer.
Okay, so I think, yeah, the front of the building is about 75 feet, and then the side is about 15.
Plus the
we
rooftop
go.
flat existing area.
Right, which is another 20 feet, 30 feet, so we can reduce that.
Yep.
So we have a total of 90 plus 30, so 120 is the roof protection, and the rest will go away.
Yeah, so maybe just say
Reduce.
reduce general requirements by the rentals are only like $3,000 and take another 6 or 7 off the rails.
And then eliminate sidewalk rental. Sidewalk rental, we have total of
So that was like 3,000 for the two of them for cost of work,
yeah, so
sidewalk
just-
and street.
So I'm saying just make item number 27, reduction in GRs and lump those two items in it.
Well, if you don't mind, Shane, I'd like to itemize them specifically so that we can go back and make sure we catch them later.
Okay.
Because we itemize our GRs and we're gonna carry that forward into the next estimate. So
Yeah.
knowing exactly what we want to reduce, we'll track it for us.
Okay.
platform stairs, roof construction. Where is the roof?
So I think we had
standard
405 and we
support.
probably only need You can
On
probably take that down by at least 250 linear feet
how much
at
to
35
repair?
bucks a linear foot.
A little bit counts.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
no, that's a pretty good chunk.
Yeah, then I can put back the sidewalk rental.
We had talked about flipping the women's locker room, so we wouldn't have to do all that work under the slab.
We've already flipped it,
Okay, so
pretty
it looks like,
much.
yeah, you got
Well-
about $18,000 or $19,000 in there for slab work. So on page,
I'm not sure that, and Greg, if you're still on, you can comment. I'm not sure that item, Shane, we had money in for. Maybe Justin can weigh in too. That was something that I think we anticipated would need to be an ad in the future because there wasn't much shown. But that's the way I understood that one.
I apologize. I was, I guess, out of the loop on that discussion. Which bathroom was this in regards to?
The woman's
It's-
locker, right? Is that we talking about?
yeah, right
Snoop.
now it's shown all the way on the north of the building, you know, furthest away from any of the existing plumbing. So it was Greg's idea. He suggested that we mirror the locker room to bring the bathrooms back over to where the existing plumbing is. So we wouldn't have to rip up
okay.
the slab on grade.
Yeah, well,
Right.
you'll still have to rip up the slab because it won't be tying into existing wet services because you've got toilets, showers, everything that's in. So, but it's less
But
trenching through and
can
restoration.
we save 50% of that?
Yeah, so we have the demo as 1750, and then we have the patching. Let me double check the patching.
Yeah, I mean, it looks
It's
like
probably-
that's the old kitchen there on the lower level.
Right.
It will back up to the old kitchen, but we'll still have to go under the slab.
I think
Right.
I think a 50% reduction is pretty reasonable for that, assuming that I don't know how we broke up our concrete demo, but I know we had
So-
a chunk that we were putting in there, Dung, for
Per Greg's suggestion to me, we're looking at all of the existing sanitary lines and flipping lab sink locations or the kitchen sink in the second floor, you know, anywhere we
Oh.
can do that. We're taking a look at all of those. So just so
Nice.
you know.
So if you're referring to that woman's locker, I think with demo and concrete, we carry roughly about $4,500 in there. So do you want us to cut that in half?
That's probably reasonable.
Mhm.
and then we would have had the repair cost for that. So so we can cut the repair cost in half as well, of course. So I think we can take that. I think at least 2,800 bucks out.
Okay.
On the repair side.
2,800. So
Yeah.
plus 2,800.
I think, are you saying total 2,800, Justin?
I think we can take that much out.
Oh, minus.
Yeah, that would be a minus as well, obviously. Yeah.
Okay.
Jane, anything else?
If we're not redoing any of the rooftop units, I guess this is something just to keep in our back pocket. Maybe doesn't have to go on here, but we're not going to have to take out the roof screens and reinstall them. So we should just keep that in mind when we talk about the rooftop units. Scott, you had sent me an email about the spray on fireproofing. You thought that we didn't require that.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep. Per AKF's reports, we're within that fire separation and we don't have any bearing walls or that were required to our fireproofing.
And
So it
is
looks like
there
you-
spray applied on the existing building that we'd be patching?
There's a little bit of patching in the garage, I believe,
Yeah.
Okay.
but
So we
it's
might keep
pretty,
some of that.
yeah, just a little bit, but not probably the whole thing. that you were
So we've
thinking?
got $8,400 for new spray fireproofing then that we could remove. That'd be
Mhm.
great.
That's a good size area, Shannon. And yeah,
Okay, we'll take that out.
Yeah, yeah. So we can leave our patching. We have a separate line for some patching.
Two lines in
The 8,400 was just for the new space.
there. Chief Scory, you talked about using that police stone as a bench, maybe. So we have about
Yeah,
$6,000 in there to take it out and put it back in.
I was trying to come up with an idea for it,
Yeah.
an alternate idea.
Do we want to show that as a saving if we don't put it back in the building? Or just leave money in there to do something?
I need to leave money in there to do
It's
something.
not, it's not going to move the dial.
No, no.
Shane, what was that? I didn't hear what that was.
The precast police sign,
Oh, the precast police sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, just leave money in there to do something with it.
Okay. The emergency shower, is that in the detective's lab as well? Is an emergency shower included here?
We don't have one now. The only emergency shower we have is in the cell block.
I'll have to check where that is, Shane. I do not
Okay.
remember that.
All right, it's $2,500. It's not big money. But
we have one on our side, but I don't know if that was included in the scope of work.
I doubt it.
Okay.
And then just in your mechanical, you have a $30,000 line item for rigging at the end of that section, but you've included rigging under all your individual pieces of equipment. Is that
I think that might be for the getting it into the garage. Is that what we talked about, that separate item, Justin? Pretty sure. Just to open up an opening and replace it to get that in, as opposed to the rigging of just getting the equipment on the roof, whatever. I think we added something specific for.
I think that air handling unit was one of the challenges, the H&V in the
Right, so
garage, you were saying? But
Right,
I
so-
agree, yeah, we've got a rigging number for each individual
you got
piece.
24 for that AHU? Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, just if it could be reduced, if we're trying to cut back everywhere. If you can reduce it, eliminate it, that would be great.
Understood. Yeah, no, that's a good question.
That was about it.
How much
the-
are we
the-
thinking to reduce the rigging?
The easy one that we always go after, the landscaping.
Hmm.
So there's no evergreens or shrubs there now.
In half?
Yeah, if we've got it somewhere else, that extra item might be enough to just open up that opening and bring it back. Justin, do you agree?
Sure, yeah.
And how much did we carry for that rigging again? I'm sorry.
Shane, you said you saw a $30,000
There's a
line item?
$30,000 line item under other in your mechanical, right down at the bottom.
Other. I see it, yeah.
So 15.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, 15. All right.
All right, we're close to that $1 million mark.
And you were saying landscaping, Shane?
But yeah, again, it's about $8,000 for evergreen trees and shrubs, which aren't at the front of the building right now.
So just
They
eliminate.
can easily be put back in later.
I would just leave that, Shane.
Okay.
There's going to be a bunch of as yet determined restoration required for a lot of the storm drainage and utility relocation.
I would
Okay.
just leave that 8,000 in there for that.
All right. All right, so we're still a little short. I did go back and look at the FF&E. I've assumed that all the new furniture will be new. I don't know if people have the appetite to run through that quickly. You may be able to find, you know, 40, 50, $60,000 in that.
We can hold off on that.
Yeah, I think maybe we can target, you know, $60,000 saving in FF&E, and we'll work with the police to see what can be reused.
We also have some contingencies too.
Yeah.
Any chance the window treatments could be FF&E? That sometimes is something that owners will take direct.
I rather when they're screwing into your work that they do it under you.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. But just a question since we're going through everything else.
Okay, so we'll present this tomorrow night show. We'll tidy it up a little bit and get it out tomorrow by lunchtime, maybe.
Okay.
If we can do that, Bond.
Yep.
Anyone else, anything on the VE?
All right, we'll see everybody tomorrow night.
Yeah. So
And
just
Dave, I'll send you the bill for the sidewalk repair right now.
The rental.
Yeah, the rental, that'll be personal though to you.
As long as you can put a field office in your backyard, Joe, it's all no problem. We're all set.
Hey, it'd improve it. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night.